What is up, guys? TYSON DELACRUZ here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. A plane with 64 passengers and crew en route to Washington, D.C. from Wichita, Kansas, was involved in a midair collision with a U.S. Army helicopter, and we're going to talk about it. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. This was a horrific incident that occurred on Wednesday night, January 29th, where a 64 passenger plane and crew was en route to DC from Wichita, and a Black Hawk helicopter collided with the airline, with a commercial airline. U.S. figure skaters said on Thursday that several skaters were on the American Airlines regional passenger plane that crashed near Reagan Washington National Airport. The reason why I bring this up, we'll jump into that here in a minute, but U.S. figure skating and governing body of figure skaters of the United States said athletes, coaches, and family members were returning from a national development camp held in conjunction with the U.S. Figure Skating Championship in Kansas. Now, I bring this up because this isn't the first time that this happened. Now, the first time that this happened was back in 1961. In 1961, multi-generational loss invoked painful memories of the 1961 plane crash that killed 71 people, including 18 members of the U.S. figure skating team, heading towards World Figure Skating Championships in Prague. That disaster did not just kill athletes, it also killed coaches, leaving systematic voids in U.S. figure skating for generations to come. Now, I'm not saying that there is an attack on figure skaters. There might be, I don't know. But I am not personally saying that there's an attack on figure skaters, but I just find it uniquely interesting that this plane in 1961 had some prominent figure skaters on it and also crashed. And this plane from the other day also had some prominent figure skaters in it. Russian states media, meanwhile, reporting the ice skater coaches and former world champions were those on the plane. Again, I'm not saying that there is a hit on figure skaters, but this is very reminiscent to this 1961 crash. World champions and parents of elite skaters perish in crash. This whole situation with this plane is very interesting. It's very interesting. Apparently the lights were off on the helicopter. They had about 15 seconds to make a correction, and I'm not sure if anybody up in the tower was on watch. This kind of leads me into this next report. Reporters confront Trump for blaming the air crash on DEI. What evidence do you have on that? That is what the reporter said.
On DEI and the claims that you've made, are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power. You have to go by psychological quality, and psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden, and Biden went by a standard that's the exact opposite. So we don't know, but we do know that you had two planes at the same level. You had a helicopter and a plane. That shouldn't have happened, and we'll see. We're going to look into that, and we're going to see. But certainly for an air traffic controller, we want the brightest, the smartest, the sharpest. We want somebody that's psychologically superior, and that's what we're going to have. Yeah.
ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce confronted President Donald Trump for blaming D.C. air crash on diversity, equity, inclusion. DEI policies challenged him to provide evidence to claim it on the press conference on Thursday. Now, if you're not familiar what Donald Trump was talking about, he's talking about this. FAA turned away qualified air traffic controllers based solely on race. The co-pilot had 500 hours, which was considered a normal amount of experience. Fox News told the co-pilot was a woman, with both instructor pilots in charge, and the pilots were being evaluated during the flight. That didn't go very well.
But I also wanted to give an update on the tragedy that happened last night here in Washington, D.C., and provide a little bit more information as we are actively working to investigate and understand what occurred and why. At about 8:48 last night, a UH-60 assigned to the U.S. Army Aviation Brigade in the Military District of Washington, Fort Belvoir, Virginia, collided tragically with a civilian airliner. The unit involved, the Army unit involved, was Bravo Company 12th Aviation Battalion at Fort Belvoir. It was an annual proficiency training flight. And when we look at the crew, and not all can have been notified, so we're going to withhold ranks and names at this point. We do know on our side who was involved. It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles. The 12th Aviation Battalion, as of now, is granted a 48-hour operational pause on contingency missions as what happened is reviewed, and a senior level aviation team, an investigative team from our Aviation Safety Center, was deployed last night and already is in Washington, D.C. to investigate what's going on. We anticipate that the investigation will quickly be able to determine whether the aircraft was in the corridor and at the right altitude at the time of the incident. As I mentioned, next of kin notifications are ongoing. It's a tragedy, a horrible loss of life for those 64 souls on that civilian airliner, and of course, the 3 soldiers in that Black Hawk.
Now, I know you guys have been sending me a bunch of videos about some autonomous flights specifically pertaining to the Black Hawk, which were filmed about 2 or 3 weeks ago at a convention where they were demonstrating the Black Hawk's ability to fly autonomously. Based on Pete Hegseth's comments, this was a kind of proficiency situation, and they had night goggles. I don't know if the night goggles were on. I'll keep you guys updated on this situation as this kind of evolves and flows. This is a fluid situation. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.